Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the K. Yeager Coliseum. Live from Wichita Falls, I'm Alex Von Coydel, hoping you're all having a tremendous Saturday night. Well, last Friday night, the Wildcats again proved they have the ability to rally when things are not going their way. Despite falling to the Amarillo Bulls in their home opener, losing their previous game 7-2 on home ice, and playing without one of their top defensemen in Ryan Orgel, the Wildcats still managed to pull away with a 3-2 victory last Friday night. Ilya Skvortsov led the way offensively, assisting in all three Wildcats goals against the Amarillo Bulls. Ricky Carballo, Roman Canal, and Alexei Poikala would each find twine in that game. The defenseman Canal's goal was his first of junior hockey and his first as a Wildcat, and it came off a seeing-eye howitzer from the right circle. Evan Moyes had another strong night in net for the Wildcats, which is part of the reason he'll be starting again tonight. He earned the Kona Ice number 3 star of that game. He made 29 of a possible 31 saves en route to his 5th victory of the campaign. Tonight's victory spoke volumes to the team's resolve as they not only avenged themselves against Amarillo, but they bounced back after one of their worst defeats on home ice in franchise history the previous Sunday night. That 7-2 blowout defeat against the Odessa Jackalopes. As for this game, well, we all knew this day would come eventually. The first matchup between the Wildcats and the Shreveport Mudbugs in history. Formerly members of the Central Hockey League, the Mudbugs were rivals at one time with the Fort Worth Brahmas, now the Lone Star Brahmas, the Amarillo Gorillas, now the Amarillo Bulls, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, and the Odessa Jackalopes when those teams were all members of the CHL. Making a return to Shreveport for the first time since 2011, the Mudbugs are in their first season as an NAHL franchise. So far, they are off to a strong start. Shreveport is 4-3-1 and is proving to be a real divisional September. He was also on the NHL Central scouting list, was Evingson, who for Shreveport tonight will be sporting number 5. So look out for number 5 in the white and teal uniforms this evening, folks. Former Kenai River Brown Bear, very strong defenseman for the Mudbugs here in the early going. Speaking of Shreveport, for those of you tuning in on FastHockey.com, we apologize, but Shreveport will not be having an audio broadcast on Fast Hockey tonight. So if you want to watch on Fast Hockey, you're going to be stuck listening to me. If you'd prefer to listen to Chet Yoder over here, go ahead and tune into the ticket 1007.com. That's how you can hear the broadcast from a Mudbugs perspective if you'd like to tune in through there. Unfortunately, again, we apologize, but Chet will not be providing an away broadcast on FastHockey.com. Now we await the singing of our country's national anthem, but first the intro video here to pump up the crowd at K. Yeager Coliseum. Tonight is Back the Blue Night, folks. The first and only time the Wildcats this season will be honoring local law enforcement here with specialty jerseys designed by our business director, Debbie Fleetwood, who did a real kick-butt job making those jerseys. I have to say they look really nice. My only sole complaint about them, and it's a complaint that only a broadcaster would have, is that it is a little bit difficult to see the names and numbers on the back of the jerseys because they're the jerseys are blue and gray and black stripes, horizontal stripes going across the jerseys. The numbers, the color of the font is gray as well, so it's a little bit difficult to see the numbers. Not that a fan would really care all that much, but for myself, yep, it'll probably be a little bit difficult to identify some of the players tonight, so you might have to bear with me a little bit, folks. Other than that, they look great, so we're really looking forward to seeing how we do in the jersey auction that will be taking place at the guest services table. These specialty, one-of-a-kind a few police officers I've seen in the building here tonight, so I'd like to thank them for. In addition, they were given $4 or $5 tickets for immediate family members, should they have decided to take the Wildcats up on that generous offer. Looks like the starting lineups for the Shreveport Mudbugs. Kieran Durgan, who had very strong month of September as well, 3rd on the Mudbugs in points this season here in the early going. He'll be wearing number 8 tonight. He will be flanked by Frankie Melton on the left side, Sean O'Malley on the right. Durgan also had the Null's number 1 play of the week not long ago. It must have been a couple of weeks ago. So Kieran Durgan and that big line starting for the Shreveport Mudbugs tonight. On defense, Dominic Procopio. He will be wearing number 2. Kristaps Jakobsen's number 4. In net, John Roberts, who's had a very solid start. 2-1-1. John Roberts with a 2.25 goals against average and a whopping .924 save percentage. It will not be easy to get pucks past him. We'll see what the Wildcats can do. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, on FastHockey.com. We're so happy to have you with us here. Alex Von Coitel bringing you live coverage from K. Yeager Coliseum in Wichita Falls, Texas. We hope you enjoy this high-definition broadcast brought to you on FastHockey.com. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you just as well. We're so glad to have you with us here tonight. The starting lineups now being read off by the public address announcer, Charles Campbell. I'll read them as they come on out. Seamus Donahue, recently appointed captain by the Wildcats. Sporting number 2 in his Back the Blue jersey, Seamus Donahue will start alongside defensive partner Jonathan Waring, the Farmington Hills, Michigan native. He's had a very strong start to the season. The two of them, Donahue and Waring, combined have 10 points, each of them with 5, which leads the Wildcats' defensive core. Jeff Skinner, number 24, the newest addition to the Wildcats, had a pretty strong debut last Friday night. He will be starting alongside Ilya Skvortsov and Ricky Carballo, the latter of whom has just been announced. Spoiler alert, that's the remainder of the starting lineup, aside from the goaltender, of course, which was mentioned to you earlier, Evan Moyes. He will be getting another start in net for Tony Curtali and the Wildcats. Ilya Skvortsov's name being read out loud right now as he gets a raucous round of applause as he skates to his blue line. And this Wildcats starting lineup has been brought to you by Pelican's Restaurant. Good to see Crazy Cat back as well. I might have mentioned she wasn't feeling all that great not too long ago. Glad she's okay now. Crazy Cat is quite a trooper. Nothing's going to keep her down. So we're so happy to have Crazy Cat back in the loop. It's never quite the same around here without her. And I got to say, I'm liking the crowd I see so far, folks. Pretty good group of people here, it looks like. Some good numbers here on this Saturday night. Boy, I'll tell you what, folks, that was an incredibly moving tribute by the public address announcer, Charles Campbell. Kudos to Charles Campbell for that very moving tribute to the men and women who so bravely protect us. As Charles so eloquently put, they face dangers so that we don't have to. Very well said by Charles. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much to all the law officers all throughout the United States who protect our rights day in and day out. We'll stand by as we await the finishing of our country's national anthem before the puck drop. So it looks like there's been a little bit of line juggling already done by Tony Curtali. He knows what he's working against here Coach Carlos Zernis, who is making his debut, obviously, as the Mudbugs head coach this season. Carlos Zernis, a native of Latvia, who coached Teddy Bluger, who is one of Josh Nelson's teammates up at Minnesota State University at Mankato. Also has 3 Latvians dressed for him this evening, so he's got that connection with his players. Speaking of, getting a little bit off track here, the change to the lineup that I've noticed, Kareem Del Ponte will be starting. It was not Jonathan Waring. That was the name that was read off, and that was the name that was given to me. But it looks like Kareem Del Ponte will be starting alongside Seamus Donahue. We'll see how long that lasts here tonight. I'm sure that there will be plenty of line changes up and down the lineup, especially on the part of the Wildcats, because as it stands now, they've mixed things up already. So some experimenting being done now by Tony Curtali about a fifth of the way through this 2016-17 season. Stephen Tilley, who for a while was on the left wing alongside Ilya Skvortsov and Ricky Carballo. Tilley is now the third-line center, flanking Isaac Kabinia on his left, C.J. Walker on his right. Ethan Daniels now on the fourth line, centering C.J. Regula, or check that, Bobby DeFriest rather. Regula has been a late scratch. Blake Ripley will be playing tonight on Daniels' left side. The Poika line remains the only line, or the Berndorf line, as you prefer to call it, will be the only line that remains consistent here. And why not? They've been the Wildcats' most consistent line. Alexei Poikala, Jonathan Bendorf, Ryan Burnett. Expect a lot of ice time from them again this evening. This first face-off will take place between Kieran Durgan of the Mudbugs and Ilya Skvortsov of the Wildcats. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We're officially underway here in Wichita Falls. This first period of Wildcats hockey is brought to you by American Classifieds, as an early deflection from the neutral zone forces the puck out of play. This will be the Wildcats' last game for 2 weeks. Curtali has given some of the players off next weekend, so I know a lot of them are planning on heading home for a couple of days, seeing some family members that they maybe haven't had a chance to do a whole lot of since arriving here in Wichita Falls back in August. Next weekend, the Wildcats have off, not a single game, so the next time the Cats will play will be at the end of the month against the Amarillo Bulls on the road. And that's going to be on Friday, October 28th. So Ricky Carballo advances it off the stick of Skvortsov into the Shreveport zone, where it's taken by Shreveport's number 5, Croy Evingston, as he waits patiently behind his own net. Evingston will try to start the breakout here. He mishandled it, misplayed the puck. Now it's thrown on goal from a severe angle. The save is made by John Roberts, who covers it up at the side of the net. Pretty tough first save made by John Roberts. A very severe angle shot taken by Ricky Carballo. The face-off takes place, and right off the draw, a quick shot from Ryan Burnett is swallowed up by John Roberts. Not to be confused with the U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice, I might add, John Roberts. Sorry to get all political on everybody. Here come the Mudbugs. Out with it, into the neutral zone. It's brought up through center, not to the right side. A quick shot goes through the blue paint. Moyes didn't have to play it, and he let it go. Now it's Jonathan Bendorf into the high slot. Puck knocked off his stick, following up is Roman Canal with a shot. Ring it off the crossbar, and it stays out. What a shot by Roman Canal. That was a close call. Canal nearly with his second goal in as many games. Croy Evingston played it off a friendly skate. Gijsbers follows up. He clears it down beneath the Wildcats goal line. Moyes will let it go. Orgel reverses it. Orgel playing in his first hockey game in a couple of weeks. The last game he played was back in late September 24th, against the Aston Rebels. Burnett will leave it. Tilley has it in the far side corner. He will bank it back to the right point. Dom Sipis this way for Waring, who's a one-timer well off target, didn't get all of it. Stephen Tilley banks it back off the half wall. Sipis looks for a lane, finds one, and shoots, and Roberts able to see it in plenty of time to make the save. Puck is pried loose in front of the net. A shot turned aside by John Roberts, who's been by far the busier of the two goaltenders to start this game, but here comes Shreveport. Zohovs gets the return pass, lets it go all the way through for a shot and a goal. The Mudbugs have scored first. It was Cameron Cook. The pass was intended for Zohovs. It went past Zohov's stick, and Cameron Cook roofed it. Blocker side on Evan Moyes. On their first shot, they have scored their first goal. The Mudbugs with a 1-0 lead. Here come the Wildcats. It's brought in behind the net there by Kareem Del Ponte. He's aided by Stephen Tilley, who has it on his backhand. Working it in the near corner will reverse it low, and it's taken by Dominic Procopio. The Mudbugs able to clear as far as the red line in the neutral zone, but no further than that. Del Ponte's got it there. Stripped of possession. C.J. Walker follows up with a nice shoulder check. Here's the intercept in the neutral zone. A shot from the high slot, waffle boarded away there by Evan Moyes. The puck is collected by Seamus Donahue, who will throw it off the boards. Kept in, and it's brought down the right wing side. Mudbugs still maintain possession in the attacking zone, and we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. So 3 minutes into this hockey game, 1-0 the score in favor of Shreveport, despite being outshot by the Cats 4-2. The crowd still filing in here on this Saturday night. This face-off to Moyes' left. Poikala to take it for the Wildcats. Kieran Durgan for the Mudbugs. Won cleanly by Poikala. Orgel thrown into the boards. Evingston with a point shot, glove save. So the Wildcats now on a Parkway Grill penalty kill here. Didn't even notice it. But the reason for that last whistle was because the Cats were guilty of a penalty for holding, it sounded like. First PK of the game for the Cats. Spinning away with that far corner, Frankie Melton, who leads the Mudbugs in scoring this season. He will slide it on back to the left point. Croy Evingston. Now a wrist shot from Jacobson's turned aside by Evan Moyes. Poikala jostles it up the wall. Melton first to the puck, finds Evingston left point, who's ridden back out to the neutral zone by Ryan Burnett. Kieran Durgan playing conservatively back, and he throws it back ahead. Here comes Frankie Melton. Couldn't toe drag his way past Roman Canal, who read that play well. Burnett will throw it back down the ice. 4 minutes have gone by in this first period. Shreveport with a 1-0 lead. Puck thrown across ice now in the left side corner. Cameron Cook is there. Back to Zohovs. Zohovs returns it. Cook is low. Cook tried to play it all the way back to the blue line. Intercepted by Skvortsov, who will clear it down. Pass was intended for ZLA there, who has the puck on his stick now. ZLA drops it off. Right back up the ice comes Zohovs. Zohovs marches his way into the Wildcats zone. He looks and drops it on back. ZLA has it. At the blue line, drops the pass off for Zohovs with a drive, tipped well wide of the near side post. Puck is sent to the blue line. Now it's given to Zohovs' right side, who threw it off a friendly skate. Dom Sipus intercepts it and whips it back down. Time winding down on the penalty to Seamus Donahue. The Wildcats on the verge of improving to 1-for-1 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill here tonight. DLA advances it over the Wildcats' blue line, but not much further. Roman Canal has it. And the puck is cleared one last time, and that's going to just about do it for the Shreveport power play. For the Cats, 1-for-1 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill. Puck thrown out down the left side. So Roman Canal has the puck on his stick as he wheels out in front of his own net. Canal looking for some sort of option here. Doesn't see a good breakout play that he likes, so he will drop it on back for Ryan Orgel behind his net. Burnett doing a little damage control, helping out his two defensemen. Roman Canal advanced it for Blake Ripley, playing in his first game in a while. Dumps it in, goes to get his own pass, then he rides Dominic Procopio into the end board glass. Shreveport dumps it in, then changes on the fly. Seamus Donahue for Wichita Falls throws it off the neutral zone boards. Bobby DeFriest clears it. below the Mudbugs goal line. Thrown back around the far wall. Nice keep at the right point by Kareem Del Ponte, who fights for it. And we get a whistle for an offside. Called by the linesman. Military Appreciation Night isn't too far into the future now. November 12th is a Saturday. Same deal as the one that we had for tonight. And the active and retired military will be given a free admission to the game, plus up to $4 or $5 tickets for family members. So come on out. Saturday, November 12th. The Wildcats will be hosting the Amarillo Bulls. And we got a broken stick down there on the ice. With that goal scored by Cameron Cook, that is his third of the season. He's brought an important presence to the Mudbugs, who are a pretty young team, obviously a very new team, so it helps to have a guy like Cameron Cook who's been around the league a little while. He is an NAHL veteran. He spent last season with the Kenai River Brown Bears. He actually played against the Wildcats in the showcase last year. With his third goal of the season for Carlos Zernis and the Mudbugs. But it looks like one of their players has just been sent to the penalty box. That is Brendan Van Sweden. So the Wildcats to their first power play, brought to you by Starbright Cleaners as Poikala lines up to take the face-off. But he was beaten off the draw there by Kieran Durgan. Wildcats maintain possession in the offensive zone. Donahue looks for a lane, takes a wrist shot. That was blocked, and it goes off the netting and out of play. The face-off will stay in the Shreveport end. Only 10 seconds having been killed. It looks like Ilya and Alexei are on the ice together. Kareem Del Ponte getting some power play time. He will be quarterbacking the umbrella formation. It looks like he and Donahue will take turns. Donahue finds Ilya Skvortsov. He turns at Donahue right circle with a shot. Glove save by John Roberts. What a snapper that was from Seamus. Try to catch John Roberts cheating a little bit. Seamus is very good at that. That's how he scored his first goal of the season, which was NAHL's number 6 play of the week. He's so deceptive with the puck. Goaltenders and defensemen alike always seem to think that Seamus is going to pass when he ends up shooting it. Well, Burnett will pick up the loose change off the draw, tried to drop it back, but he did so between Seamus and Kareem. So Seamus will have to scurry back behind his own net, pursued by Garrett Halford. Now here's Ilya Skvortsov. Sidesteps one check easily, flies through the middle of the ice, finds Ryan Burnett, but the pass wasn't a very good one. It was off his skate, and the puck pinballs its way into the crowd. So that'll be a souvenir. 12:46 to go in this first period. 1-0 Shreveport. Cameron Cook with a lone goal of this hockey game. Eric Johoves and Jack Yonick, I believe, with the assists. Tilly wins the face-off. Haven't seen a whole lot of Tilly at center here this season, but we're getting to now. Back out at center it goes. Jeff Skinner's pass was behind Kareem Del Ponte, so he had to slam on the brakes. He loses the puck. Shot stopped by Moyes. That was Walker, rather, who had it. No, that was Kareem. My apologies. Always trust your first guess, right? I'll tell you, it's a little bit difficult for me, folks, seeing the numbers on these back the blue jerseys. Not ideal, we'll say that. For those of you watching on Fast Hockey, good news. If you haven't already heard the news, we've resolved the issue that was causing the interruptions last Friday night. And we hope, we're not going to promise, we're smarter than that here, but we hope that it doesn't happen again. Good news is we figured out the cause of the problem, fixed it, and we'll go from there. So now, by all means, feel free to let us know what you think of the HD broadcast on fasthockey.com, as it's interruption-free here tonight. Waring gives it across. Skinner with a shot. Chest save made in goal by John Roberts. Puck nearly cleared. Excellent keep at the right point by Jonathan Waring. Time winding down on the Wildcats power play. 18 seconds to go on it. Waring sets up Skinner. Now to the goal line. That is Stephen Tilley. Back up high for Waring, who's shot knuckleballed off of a Shreveport defenseman. and wide of the net. The Mudbugs will clear it below the Wildcats' goal line. Ryan Orgel assumes command of the puck. He will start working up ice. Poikla run into there by Brendan Van Sweden, who is fresh out of the penalty box there. Well, Shreveport takes it over and behind their own net. Tomas Zila has it. Out to the right side, Kieran Durgan. He advanced it as far as Eric Zohofs. Trying to lift the stick of Jonathan Waring, couldn't do it. Puck goes past Orgel, out to the left point, all the way through. Long shot, tipped just wide of the short side post. Don't think Moyes ever saw it. Now here comes Poikla, left side, up into the middle for Walker, whose shot. Routine stick save made in goal by John Roberts. Poikla has it. On the far side, jabbing for it. Working against Frankie Melton. Puck taken by Shreveport. The Mudbugs, Sean O'Malley will clear it beyond his own blue line. Kieran Durgan scrapping for it with Isaac Cabinia. Jais Burrs goes D to D and gets the return pass from Alex Spencer. Up through the middle, nice pass. Here's a chance, backhand shot. Denied by Evan Moyes. He just got a piece of it. That was Zohovs in all alone. That's not the guy you want to leave unattested. Here comes Blake Ripley. Ripley slams on the brakes and looks. Feeds it to the goal line, centering pass. Shot turned on net. Roberts with a big save. That was Ethan Daniels with a point-blank shot. Still looking for his first goal of the season. Daniels denied by John Roberts, who was just better. Now DeFriest sizes up his man, and Yannick along the near boards, and the Mudbugs able to escape with it. A 3-on-2 developing here as Durgan brings it down the left side and tries to throw it in front of the net. Zohovs did rather. Yannick has it near corner, who got it past Ripley, centered it, jumps into the slot. Ethan Daniels gets it safely away from a bunch of the Mudbugs who are all trying to swarm the puck there. The Wildcats finally able to get it out of their own zone. Marching on in now is Bobby DeFriest nearing the end of his shift. His line mates have changed. Nice stick there by Isaac Cabinia, who knocked the puck off the defenseman's stick, but the Mudbugs still able to clear out to center and beyond. Here's a shot from Van Sweden and a glove save made by Evan Moyes. 9:18 to go in the first. We've crossed the halfway point of this first period. Brought to you by American Classifieds. 1-0 the score in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs, and now we go to our first media timeout. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout. Folks, stay with us. We'll be right back. So Ryan Burnett has it in his own end. Got to throw it up and onto the left side. Jonathan Bendorf throws it diagonally. Alexei Poikla pursuing it. Orgel will fly it back in. So Dominic Procopio first to it. Poikla knocks him off of it. Burnett tries to center, hoping for Bendorf. Intercepted by Brendan Van Sweden. And here come the Mudbugs. Jay Fewell has it. Crunched up along the neutral zone, the sideboards there by Orgel. As a result, we get an offside play. This just speaks volumes to how difficult the South Division is going to be this season, folks. The Shreveport Mudbugs are 4-3-1, and just about everyone has said they've had a very strong start to the season, yet they are in last place in the South Division. Just 9 points, which in a division this tight, they're behind the Topeka Roadrunners, the Odessa Jackalopes, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, who have all got just 1 or 2 points on Shreveport. It is going to be just a really close call when it comes down to it at the end of the season. So much so that, as a matter of fact, some people are saying that Topeka is expected to be the weak link of the division this year. And for those of you who have been Wildcats fans for a while, how weird is it hearing that? I'll tell you one thing, that doesn't happen very often. So Waring knocked down. Here's a chance for Halford. Side of the net for ZLA, who can't stuff it in. Moyes able to cover it up at the side of the net. It was Gabe Wall, rather, who had the chance. He was set up nicely by Garrett Halford. Just couldn't stuff it in. The puck wasn't quite in his wheelhouse. Had to kick it up to his stick. So now this faceoff is going to take place to Evan Moyes' left side. Kieran Durgan against Ilya Skvortsov. With his new line mates, Skvortsov wins the draw. Seamus Donahue has it. Able to clear it somehow past 2 Mudbugs along the boards. Not sure how they didn't keep it, but here they come on a counterattack. Kieran Durgan with a burst of speed and a shot. Ripped it just wide. Boy, that had some mustard on it. Skvortsov will put it behind the net. That's Frankie Melton scrapping for it. Melton gets the reverse pass there from Kieran Durgan. Melton gives it beneath the Wildcats' goal line for Sean O'Malley. O'Malley gets it from Durgan. He looks, tries to center for him. Play broken up nicely by Ilya Skvortsov. And the Cats able to clear down the ice. Could be a foot race for possession here. The goaltender, John Roberts, out to play it up. Brendan Geisbergs, he advances it. The Mudbugs back into the Cats zone right away. Frankie Melton threw it off of his teammate's skate, his line mate's skate, Jack Yannick. Yannick fighting for it with Seamus Donahue. Yannick wins it, looks to the front, tries a wraparound. He did not see his teammates fresh off a line change. Cameron Cook could have had an easy second goal there. Had Yannick pass it to him, he was all just the whole way just thinking of wrapping it on Moyes. So Tilly with a shot that's punched away by John Roberts. Mudbugs trying to clear it. CJ Walker keeps it. He will drop it for Stephen Tilly, left side. Tilly tried to center, broken up by Zohabs. Now Kabinia has it, side of the net, all the way back up to the top for Roman Canal. D-to-D, Ryan Orgel, right circle. Taking the shot, it was blocked. Following up with a second shot, blocked again. Third shot, blocked a third time. And the Mudbugs able to clear. So Cameron Cook scrapping with Ryan Orgel, the latter of whom won the puck. Roman Canal up the right wing side for Ricky Carballo. Now here comes Isaac Kabinia, playing on the left wing for the first time this season. Here tonight, CJ Walker has it in the far corner. Throws it below the Mudbugs goal line for Isaac Kabinia. Puck swatted ahead but not out. Right point kept by Sipus, whose shot, not sure what happened there. It was blocked. They scrap away for it at the side of the goal. Roberts all out of sorts, but the Wildcats unable to get a clean shot away, and the Mudbugs have cleared it. Boy, a couple of good surges here by Wichita Falls. They just have not been able to solve John Roberts yet. You got to give credit to the Mudbugs defense, not giving the Cats too many high-quality scoring opportunities just yet throughout this game. Every chance they've had to really fight for. So with possession on his stick now, it's Geisbergs will throw it back ahead and into the neutral zone. Tom Sipeth loses his helmet there, and we get a whistle for an offside against Shreveport and a stoppage of play. 5:13 showing on the clock. The remaining time in period 1. 1-0 the score in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs. 9-8 the shots in favor of the Cats. Got to admit, folks, I was really hoping the game 1 of the NLCS would be scheduled on a different day. Really difficult for me as a diehard Cubs fan my entire life, not being able to watch as they're back in the NLCS for the second consecutive year. I've got some family back home who couldn't decide whether they wanted to watch the Cubs or watch me. I told them to watch the Cubs, so hopefully that's what they're doing. So Bobby DeFriest threw it into the right corner. Mudbugs able to clear. Seamus Donahue pursuing it in his own zone. Nice little head fake. Got Garrett Halford to bite. Dropped it for the speedy Alexei Poikala. The Finn through center offside. Clearly against the Wildcats. Kareem Del Ponte, Poikala's billet mate, might be here. Might be given a hard time from Poikala later on tonight. We've got a pumpkin auction as well. It's not just these really sweet jerseys that are being auctioned off tonight. Player-designed pumpkins also going, starting at $20 a piece. The Wildcats Booster Club's going to be selling those pumpkins down by the Booster Club table throughout this game. Poikala steals it, sends it into the slot. The one-timer partially fanned down there by Ryan Burnett. Didn't get much on it at all, and the Mudbugs punch it back ahead. Evan Moyes is going to pounce on the puck on the Frankie Melton dump-in. For those of you who are tuning in on Fast Hockey and have noticed the camera might be a little bit tight right now, believe me, I'm aware. Ever since we've upgraded to high definition, the problem still remains of getting a cable from the camera both into this encoder and into the HD TV that we used to have. Well, that we still have. We used to use it, and now we can't because the HD overrides the RCA that our cameraman used to use to plug into the TV. So he's had a hard time adjusting without the TV to look at from way up here. Yannick brings it down the right side. There's a little bit of a toe drag, tried to pull the trigger, and he couldn't because of the toe drag. Orgel knocks it along, and here comes Ricky Carballo, who's joined by Ilya Skvortsov as the trailer, who Carballo dropped it up for, and Skvortsov's shot didn't get through. Now Carballo will pick it up in the corner. Into the slot for a turnaround shot by Skinner. I think that went off the knob of John Roberts' stick as it pops its way behind the Mudbugs net. Procopio crunched up by Ricky Cannonball Carballo. Zohovs has it in his own zone. He will settle things down before outletting the puck onto the left side for his line mate Cameron Cook. Across the line they come. Van Sweden threw it through the blue paint. Pretty weak shot there from Brendan Van Sweden, the lone penalty taker for the Mudbugs tonight. Seamus Donahue being the lone Wildcats player to have taken a penalty in this game, as we're 3 minutes away from the first period coming to an end. Blowout there from ZLA as it trickles along the goal line. Tilly nearly able to capitalize off of that. That little blooper there from ZLA. So John Roberts is just going to hang on to that puck and say, no thank you, I'll take my chances with a defensive zone faceoff. So anyways, getting back to the camera, we're hoping to have that issue resolved. I'm not sure I'd call it an issue per se. It's just, well, we'd have to get a splitter, and that would cost a little bit. As it is, upgrading is proven to be pretty costly, so I don't want to ask for too many more things from our owner. Long shot, tipped just wide of the net. The Wildcats maintain possession in the attacking zone here. Zohovs tried to clear, couldn't do it. Poikala spins it, intercepted there by O'Malley, who read the play nicely. Sends it cross ice there for Frankie Melton, who's knocked off the puck. So gaining the red line, clearing it in, that was Ryan Orgel. Alexei Poikala picks it up, threw it off the side of the net. Bobby DeFriest was waiting for it. It went between his skates. O'Malley will try to clear. Bendorf hugging the wall, but it escapes his reach. Poikala back at center, doing the dirty work, as he so often does. He will drop it back to his defense. Ethan Daniels line, the fourth line, out for a line change here. Daniels on the fourth line tonight alongside Blake Ripley and CJ Regula. DeFriest dumps it in, not Regula, DeFriest rather. Got to stop saying Regula. There was a last-minute change, and I wasn't able to update it on my line chart in time. So Van Sweden punched it off of Roman Canal's left skate. Van Sweden throws it low, and it's given across the blue paint. Watching it go there was Evan Moyes. Here come the Cats. Bit of a rush. Blake Ripley carries down his off wing. Takes it behind the Shreveport net. Bobby DeFreese in some discomfort as he skates back to the Wildcats bench. Ripley's sized up by Croy Ebbingson, and Frankie Melton is going to take over command of the puck. He will gain the logo, dump it in below the Wildcats goal line. Evan Moyes to play it. The last minute of play is brought to you by La Quinta Inn and Suites, the Wildcats official host hotel. They have just iced the puck with 58 seconds remaining in period 1. 10-8 the shots in favor of the Cats. Haven't been too many here in the second half of period 1. A little bit of a top-heavy first period as far as shots on goal are concerned. 1-0 is your score in favor of Shreveport. Cameron Cook, with his third goal of the season, lit the lamp for the Mudbugs. So a quick shot right from the side of the net, turned aside by the pad of Evan Moyes. Blake Ripley still out there, a very long shift for him because of the icing. He wasn't able to change. Puck thrown in front, intended for Cameron Cook, broken up and jabbed towards the corner. Bunch of players scrumming away for possession. It's taken by Cameron Cook ultimately, who's centered, knocked away by the Wildcats, and they're going to avert any danger here. CJ Walker up onto the left side for Stephen Tilley with a shot in and out of the glove of John Roberts. No harm, no foul. Procopio will clear. Cameron Cook run into by both Poikala and Tilley. He's still maintained possession as he springs Zohovs into the Wildcats zone. The Latvian couldn't slither by two Cats defensemen as Waring goes crashing into the net, dislodging it with just under a dozen seconds to go in period 1. 1-0 the score in favor of Shreveport. Cameron Cook again with the lone goal in the first 20 minutes. The Cats will have to deal with one last defensive zone face-off. They can't operate under the assumption that the period is over just yet. They got to be smart here for the next 11.8 seconds. Kieran Durgan's line is out there. Though he's joined by Garrett Halford, so either some line juggling has been done by Carlos Zernis, or Zernis wants Halford to muddle things up in front of the Wildcats net here. Durgan against Poikala in the face-off circle. One by Poikala, taken by Dom Sipis. A couple of European vets. Sipis hoists one out to the neutral zone. Carballo's pass, he fanned on it, offside called against the Cats. And that pretty much does away with any chance the Cats would have had at one last shot in this first period, which has all but come to an end. We're so happy to have you all with us here tonight, folks. Thanks so much for taking time out of your Saturday to enjoy some Wildcats hockey. Wildcats Mudbugs, the first time in either of these teams' franchise histories that they're playing each other here tonight. First period comes to an end, 1-0 score in favor of Shreveport, but I'd probably say the Wildcats had probably the edge, not only in shots, but in scoring chances, and I'd say quality as well, quantity and quality. Although Shreveport did have a couple of really good point-blank opportunities, I'd say the Mudbugs have probably done a better job of keeping the Wildcats to the outside. Not a whole lot of high-quality scoring chances for Wichita Falls. That's, I would think, is what has to be improved heading into period 2. Cameron Cook, the lone goal scorer. The Mudbugs with a 1-0 lead heading into the first intermission. John Roberts seemingly on his game here tonight. We'll see what the Cats can do to get inside of his head. They've already done some line juggling to try to ignite a spark. Maybe find some chemistry with his young team. Tony Curtali has mixed things up, particularly on the forward side, but also the defensive side. Dom Sipis now playing with Jonathan Waring, and Kareem Del Ponte getting some time alongside Seamus Donahue, who has been the Wildcats' top minute muncher this season. So we're going to step aside here from Kay Yeager. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Thanks so much. We'll be back after just a few minutes to bring you our first intermission report. Till then, stay with us, everyone. All right, everybody, thanks so much for bearing with us. We're back here for a brief first intermission report here from K. Yeager Coliseum. Alex Von Koitel with you as always, hoping you're having a great Saturday night. 1-0 the score in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs. We knew going into this game they'd bring a lot of speed and a lot of skill to the table. I spoke with Josh Nelson about them before this game. He told me that they are no joke this year. They are a highly skilled team. From what some of my broadcasting buddies have told me, who have made the trip out to George's Pond out in Shreveport to call games for their teams, they have told me that the Mudbugs feed off of their crowd incredibly well. Tonight they seem to be feeding off the Wildcats crowd almost just as well. What I'm seeing right now, folks, are a lot of counterattacks from the Mudbugs, who kind of caught the Cats a few times with their aggressive defensemen pinching and getting a little bit caught, getting a little burnt behind the play. And Shreveport is so quick with those counterattacks that they have been able to generate some scoring opportunities from them. Their only goal scored by Cameron Cook, set up by Jack Yonick, went through Eric Zohovs all the way over to Cameron Cook. That was because of a counterattack. That was because of a neutral zone turnover in which the Mudbugs just caught the Wildcats by surprise with a burst of speed. Not just one player and a couple of players lagging behind, but all three, or two at least, on these counterattacks, which means that the Wildcats defense, the one or two defensemen who are back, have to acknowledge and have to respect the threat that the Mudbugs pose. They get a little bit disoriented and a little bit scrambled in their own zone trying to defend the speed. So that has been the majority of the Mudbugs scoring chances. Really been generated by speed and speed alone, it seems like, through the first 20 minutes. The Wildcats, their chances have been generated by offensive zone time, offensive pressure, going to work, winning the board battles, and trying to get a dirty goal. That's what they've been trying to do, and I tip my hat to them for that. But regardless, despite facing 11 shots, John Roberts hasn't really been challenged as much as he has to be. So that's going to be up to Tony Curtali and Josh Nelson figuring out the formula to get John Roberts working a little bit more than he has in the first 20 minutes. Having a difficult time with the NAHL loading up the stats page here. I'm not able to identify which Wildcats had more shots than others. A few guys who stood out to me in that first period. Ilya Skvortsov seems to be picking up right where he left off. He was an offensive powerhouse last Friday night against the Amarillo Bulls. Seems to be all over the ice again tonight, threatening defenses left and right with his speed, his skill, his stick handling, his vision, and all of the above. Jeff Skinner also with a pretty strong first period, Skvortsov's line mate tonight. We'll see if the two of them stick together. They seem to thrive playing alongside one another here. The first game in which Skinner and Skvortsov are playing alongside one another. So Odessa, who won their game last night, let's take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard real quick. Odessa won their game last night against Corpus Christi on the road. Pretty heartbreaking defeat, I was told by Colin Shuck, Corpus's broadcaster for the Ice Rays, who drew a pretty good crowd. And the puck kind of took a funny bounce off of Odessa's captain, Ryan McKellar, off of his body and into the net. Scored the game-winning goal, did McKellar last night. So Corpus has dropped one on home ice in regulation time. Odessa now with a 1-0 lead late in the first period. Jake Levin with the lone goal for the Jackalopes in that game. The Topeka Roadrunners hosting the Springfield Junior Blues. The Roadrunners with the lowest point percentage in the South Division to start this season. And how odd is it, again, to hear that just coming out of my mouth. It's just not something you'd expect from the Topeka Roadrunners. Not to say that they're having a bad start to the season, but if you have to pick a weak link in the South this year, it's crazy to say it, but I think they might be it. They're definitely the favorites to take that So watch as I say that they're going to come out and win the South Division title. But if I had to pick, folks, I'd say they so far have been the team that has struggled the most out of any team in the South. Again, that's not saying much because the South has been so dominant, as it so often is. Amarillo have already proven, I think, they will not be the laughing stock of the division this year, not even close. Neither will the Lone Star Brahmas, obviously. Neither will the Corpus Christi Ice Rays with the new and improved offense they've got now under Brad Flynn. The Jackalopes are much deeper this year than they have been in years past. And you're looking at a Shreveport Mudbugs team right now that has made the Wildcats' defense look silly at times. And the Wildcats, obviously, reigning South Division champions, nobody's going to pick them to be the weak link in the division. So if you have to pick one right now, it looks like it's Topeka. Obviously, still plenty of time to turn it around. It's very, very early in the season. There's 13 games played by the Roadrunners, 5-8 their record. We should mention they also played Fairbanks, the defending Robertson Cup champions, in a 3-game series to start their campaign, so it's not like they've had an easy schedule by any means. The Amarillo Bulls hosting the Lone Star Brahmas tonight out at the Bullpen in West Texas. The Brahmas with the first place lead in the South Division, taking on the second place Amarillo Bulls. So I know the thumbnail on YouTube says the Wildcats are in second place right now. That's my bad, folks. I made that thumbnail a couple of days ago, and it wasn't updated after yesterday's game. So the Brahmas won last night, so they are now in first place. The Bulls again in second. And again, the Brahmas with a 1-0 lead. Peter Kessel with the lone goal for Lone Star. Looks like right now the Wildcats are actually in fourth place. I'm having a hard time getting these standings to load here. Not sure if it's the internet or if it's Hockey Tech. Either way, my apologies. I'm not able to bring you a more concise intermission report. So we're still about 6.5 minutes away, but before the second period is brought your way. And that's right, the Odessa Jackalopes passed up the Wildcats in the South Division last night after their win down in Corpus Christi. So the Cats now in fourth place, right in the middle of the South Division pack. Anyways, we're going to step aside here from Kay Yeager. When we come back, we'll have second period hockey for you and so much more. Stay with us, everyone. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're so happy you're here. Wildcats, Mudbugs, the first matchup between these two teams in both of their franchise histories. The Wildcats, despite putting on tons of pressure and making John Roberts make some saves, it is the Mudbugs with a 1-0 lead. After the first 20 minutes now in the books, Cameron Cook with the lone goal of this hockey game, 1-0 the score. Cook was set up by Jack Yannick on a nice little feathery cross-ice pass into the Wildcat zone. And again, if you were with us for the first intermission report, it was those speedy counterattacks by the Mudbugs that got the Wildcats. That's the reason Shreveport is in the lead right now. That's one thing that they're going to have to do defensively to clamp things down a little bit and prevent the Mudbugs from getting an insurance lead, because as it stands right now, if Shreveport gets an insurance goal, it will be difficult for the Wildcats to get themselves back in this hockey game. So they've got to get the next one, I would think, if they want to win this game. Second period of Wildcats hockey brought to you by American Classifieds now underway. Ilya Skvortsov from center ice rattles it into the Shreveport zone. Kareem Del Ponte scales the wall, puts it in behind for Jeff Skinner. Skinner was beaten to the puck, however, by Kristaps Jakobsons, another Latvian on this Mudbug squad, 1 of 3. Another Kieran Durgan with a shot and a save made, and the rebound taken by Evan Moyes. He covers it up. My apologies, it's not Kieran Durgan. It's Eric Zohovs. For whatever reason, getting the two of them confused here in the early going. Zohovs, another Latvian on this squad. Tomas Ziele, number 37. Kristaps Jakobsons, number 4. And Eric Zohovs, number 10. All from the small European country of Latvia. Same with their head coach, Carlos Zernis. I mentioned it in the game against the Aston Rebels, who had Christopher Bindulis last season. Boy, if there's anything the Latvians are famous for, if not hockey, it's got to be difficult to pronounce names, as a shot is rung off the post by Shreveport's number 13, Jay Fewell. That came close. So he joins Roman Canal as the only two players in this game to have drawn iron. It's actually from a very similar spot on the ice. Back to Canal now, who shoots deflected, and that went through the 5-hole and just wide. I think that fortunate bounce for John Roberts, that hit a piece of the inside of his pad and just bounced out. Very easily could have bounced into the net. So Seamus Donahue outlets one for Jonathan Bendorf, whose pass fooled Ryan Burnett. Here come the Bugs here. It's Mathis dumps it in. Stephen Mather. Now here comes Bendorf with a wrist shot. Missed the left post. Burnett has it, turns one into the slot. Bendorf sent it wide. Bendorf reverses one for Stephen Tilley at the corner. Tilley will spin, he looks. Does not have a lot of room. Brendan Geisber is taking every inch of real estate away from Tilley. And here comes Shreveport on another counter. Roman Canal had a step on him, and the quick slap shot turned aside by Moyes' left pad. Canal has it in his own zone. Banks it off the wall, hoping for Walker. Too far for him. Slapped away and out of play there by Alex Spencer. And we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. 2 minutes into the second period here. 1-0 remains the score. The shots have just been leveled at 12 apiece. Alex Spencer drops it for Ziele. It's thrown in behind the Wildcats' goal line. Icing called against Shreveport. Cats with a chance here on an offensive zone draw. Puck immediately squibs its way behind the Shreveport goal. Thrown up the left wing side, past the stick of Garrett Halford, who tries to gun it down. Evan Moyes able to get to it first. Cats will be making their first official road trip at the end of the month, October 28th and 29th. The Wildcats will be headed out to the bullpen in Texas's Panhandle to take on the Amarillo Bulls at the Amarillo Civic Center. Before that, they're going to get a weekend off next weekend. The Cats with a very top-heavy start to their season. Going into the showcase, they had played 4 games already, which couldn't have been said by any other team in the entire league. So I'm sure they're enjoying getting back-to-back one-game series or one-game weekends in a row, followed by a complete off weekend next weekend. So bit of a break for the Wildcats before headed on their first road trip, which I know a lot of the guys are excited for. It's always nice to go on road trips, especially at the start of the year. The Cats didn't really have that opportunity aside from the showcase to go on road trips and the opportunity to bond with one another. A lot of teams need that at the start of season, so a tough go of it for the Wildcats. I know it sounds silly, but it's actually difficult to have so many home games at the start of the season like they have. The schedule makers doing the Wildcats no favors this year. So Zohovs will drop it behind his net. Jacobson's reverses it. Ethan Daniels crashes into Kieran Durgan. Cats win the puck. Ripley drops it off for a slap shot from Seamus Donahue. That was off target. DeFriest will slide it back to the point. Del Ponte's long shot tipped by Ethan Daniels just wide. Donahue scurries over to the left point, throws it down the wall. Daniels will cycle it behind the Shreveport net. DeFriest gives it to Blake Ripley, who gives him the return pass. DeFriest with a wraparound. Pad save is made and goal by John Roberts. The Mudbugs scrambling. Best surge of the period for the Cats. The Mudbugs have finally cleared it beyond their own blue line. Donahue will flip it back in. John Roberts tries to outlet one. Donahue read it like a book. Into the attacking zone they come. Offside called against the Wildcats. That is a big break for Shreveport. That was a very close call. Within inches, no doubt, Ricky Carballo probably would have had a glorious scoring chance there had the offside not been whistled against Wichita Falls. What a read that was by Seamus Donahue. He knew exactly where the goaltender wanted to go to try to catch the Cats in the midst of a line change and to not give the Wildcats any chance to continue with that sustained pressure. In the second period, it's difficult with those line changes because your bench is furthest from your zone. In the first and third, it's a little bit easier to make line changes, especially if you're gassed defensively. Smart play made by John Roberts, throwing it back out to center immediately. He knew he had some tired players in front of him. Very fortunate break for the Mudbugs that was offside. Puck is thrown for Van Sweden behind the Wildcats net. Van Sweden knocked down. Donahue tries to throw it ahead for Ricky Carballo, who gets the pass. Here he comes. Carballo shoots. Pad save by John Roberts. Carballo will throw it beneath the Shreveport goal line. Hugging the wall, it's Stephen Mather. He's outnumbered, it looks like 2-1 between Skvortsov and Skinner. Long shot by Orgel, punched away by John Roberts. Canal's shot didn't get through. He recovers on time to throw it low. One-timer fan down there by Skinner. It was a little bit too hot to handle. Skvortsov shot, he scores! Skvortsov from a very tough angle, and you gotta love the celebration. Boy, was he stoked to get that one. And the Russian continues with the hot stick. The Cats have just tied this game. It's 1-1. So here comes Poikala. Cats have all the momentum right now. DeFriest with a shot. Just missed the left post. That was Burnett, rather. Back to the left point. Long bullet. Swallowed up. So a shot from the right side taken by Ryan Orgel was blocked by Cameron Cook. Puck slithers its way into the top of the right circle area. Bendorf with a nice keep. Good step by Bendorf. Here's Poikala, who will drop it off. Orgel with a slap shot. Fought off. That was a close call as well. Just got a piece of John Roberts' left pad, and now it's taken by Procopio. Taken down to the ice by Alexei Poikala, who gave him a run for his money. But the Mudbugs have been able to clear out their own zone. Boy, it's just been 5 minutes of domination here by the Wildcats in the start of this second period. With the words of Tony Curtali and Josh Nelson ringing in their ears, they have turned this one into quite a battle that the Mudbugs are going to have to fight off. Procopio with a nice smart play to get it up to Cook, who can't clear it. Nice hip check by Ryan Orgal. The Cats change on the fly. The Mudbugs a little bit trapped here, but it's thrown out to the neutral zone. Batted right down. Here comes Tilly. He will backhand it up into the Shreveport zone behind their goal line. Their goaltender, John Roberts, will play it. The Mudbugs unable to clear. They've got some tired bodies out there. The Cats with some fresh ones. Cabinia and Walker over to try to keep it alive. No luck. The Mudbugs have gotten it down into the Wildcats zone. They're going to try to catch him in the middle of this line change here. Thrown out into Stephen Tilley's wheelhouse. He has to spin. Couldn't do much with it. ZLA will bank it back into the Cats' end. Waring goes D-to-D for Dom Sipus there. 13:30 to go in the second period. The Cats have just recently tied the game off of an Ilya Skvortsov snipe from a very severe angle. The left's in the right circle in the Shreveport zone. Cabinia tried to grab the puck and glove it down to his stick, but he forgot something there. Sipus goes tumbling behind his net. Here's Alex Spencer, who goes D-to-D. ZLA with a long wrist shot off the stick of Evan Moyes. Taken now by C.J. Walker. And he will try to clear off the glove of Alex Spencer. And taken by Kieran Durgan in the neutral zone. Durgan crashed into by Stephen Tilley, who's going to complete a line change here. Meanwhile, it's Frankie Melton turning up ice. Sidesteps Blake Ripley into the attacking zone. Melton with a toe drag, gets past Sipus. Takes it in behind and looks, centers. And that one handcuffed the Mudbugs player who got it, Kieran Durgan, but the puck ended up pinballing off the post, stayed out of the net. ZLA has it, right point long shot, blocked down. Sipus ahead for Daniels, he will try to clear, no such luck. ZLA kept it at the right point. Taken there along the half boards, the Wildcats have cleared it off the glove of Spencer again. Trying to play it down to a stick, there was Bobby DeFries, no offside here, but DeFries couldn't spring free past the defense. The puck handcuffed him a little bit. Now here comes Van Sweden taking it wide, shooting it, stick save by Moyes, who's crashed into, and off comes the net. So there was some confusion on who scored that Wildcats goal, folks. I heard the public address announcer say that it was Alexei Poikala who scored it. And unless I'm going crazy here, it was Ilya Skvortsov. Easy to confuse the two of them. They play a very similar style. Very skilled European players, but I'm 95% sure that the goal was scored by Ilya Skvortsov and not Alexei Poikala. It was that very severe angle shot that I believe was an unassisted goal scored by Skvortsov. I'll be sure to, of course, double check later on. But I've come to trust my own eyes over just about anyone else's over the years. The puck took a funny deflection. It went out of play. I think it went into the Shreveport bench. Just under a dozen to go in the second period. The Cats have just tied this game, I believe, off of an Ilya Skvortsov snipe, pretty much from the goal line. And there, I think, is where one of the biggest differences between Ilya and Alexei's play style comes into effect. I'm not sure Alexei would take a shot from there. He's somebody who always looks to pass. Skvortsov more of a sniper, Alexei more of a playmaker. Not to say that Ilya can't pass and that Alexei can't shoot. It's just a matter of preference. Alexei looks to pass more than Ilya does, who looks to shoot more than Alexei does. It's just their styles. And again, I'm fairly certain that goal was scored by Ilya, which is now he leads the Wildcats in points with 11. He's got sole possession. He had been tied with Alexei and Ryan Burnett for 10. All three of them had 10 to start this game. Now Ilya with his 4th point in just 2 games. The Cats have just iced the puck. Skvortsov's 4th goal of the season and his 11th point. So now Ilya with the lead on the entire team in points. The Cats' flurry of offensive opportunities starting to dwindle down here a little bit as the period nears its halfway point. Right off the face-off, it ends up in the stands for a souvenir for a fan. What a crowd we've got on hand here tonight. So here comes Ilya. Feathers one ahead. Here comes Carballo down the right side with a shot, and a stick save is made by John Roberts. He's now got his 18th save of the game. Pretty strong night for both goaltenders. Moyes 14 of 15. Roberts 17 of 18, it looks like. So 17 saves for John Roberts. I guess they counted that one pretty quick. Each goaltender only having conceded one goal up till this point. We're nearly halfway through the regulation time here already. 11:21 showing in period 2. So Gijsbers puts it behind his own net. The Mudbugs able to clear it out to center. O'Malley given a run for his money. Off the intercept, here comes Tilley. In the Wildcat zone with a shot, wrist shot from the left side. Turned aside, no problems for John Roberts. Kept in by Ryan Burnett. Burnett has it now in the neutral zone. Throws it off the linesman. Poikula trying to take advantage of that. Couldn't swing it deep, however. It's Croy Evingston now with it on his stick. Throws it off the glove of Ryan Orgel, who's a little bit burnt here. Frankie Melton with a bit of a toe drag. Gets past Poikula. Not the second time, says Alexi. Play read well defensively there by the Finnish centerman, Alexi Poikula. Shot from the right circle, turned aside by Evan Moyes. Pops its way into the slot, collected, and brought up through center. Here comes Orgel with a backhand shot. Knocked away there by John Roberts. Frankie Melton gives a nice diagonal pass the width of the ice all the way out to the other side. Puck ends up behind the Wildcats goal where it's battled for. Stephen Tilley shovels it along. Ryan Burnett punched a little bit too far for Jonathan Bendorf, who will try to change here. He'll be able to. CJ Walker, Isaac Kabinian now on the ice. Joining Stephen Tilley, who is their centerman tonight. Mudbugs with some crisp passing. Cameron Cook on the forecheck. Gets Dom Sipus to make a bit of a jittery play. Zohov's got it ahead. Tilley advanced it through into the neutral zone for a streaking Sipus, who's brought down to his skates and ultimately down to the ice, and a penalty will be called for tripping against Shreveport. The Wildcats with their second consecutive power play upcoming here, their second Starbreak Cleaners power play of the evening. 0 for 1 thus far, as are the Mudbugs. So Tomas Ziele, the Latvian defenseman, going to have a seat. We'll see what the Cats can do on this man advantage. And Kareem Del Ponte will get his second shot quarterbacking this power play alongside Seamus Donahue. So Stephen Tilley getting a rest from the power play minutes. Looks like Jeff Skinner's out there trying to identify that player on the far side. I believe that's Ricky Carballo. So Carballo, Skvortsov, and Skinner, that line playing together up front on the power play, and the defensive pair, Donahue, Del Ponte, the rear guards here for this man advantage. As we're 9.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Skvortsov squeezes past everybody, pursues the puck down into the left corner and looks. Ilya Skvortsov threw one for an unsuspecting Carballo. Donahue tees it up. Skvortsov wants it, and he gets the pass. Ilya Skvortsov looking, throwing it down low for Jeff Skinner, who tried to give it across for Ilya, just missed his stick. Del Ponte keeps it. Donahue looks. And we get a stoppage of play. And I'm not sure why. It'll be another home-heavy month of November, folks. For those of you who are wondering if the long stretch of home games will continue, the answer is yes, it will. So the next couple of weekends, the next 3 weekends, there will not be another game at the KYC. We've got next weekend off, the following weekend in Amarillo, then the weekend after that off again. So the Cats won't be back in this building until November 11th, the day before Military Appreciation Night, but then they'll be here 3 weekends in a row. So Carballo has it at the goal line, and he looks pushed off the puck there by Croy Evingston, who brings him down. Escaping with it is Skvortsov, or Skinner rather, he looks. Skinner back up high for Seamus Donahue. Del Ponte wants the one-timer. Donahue gives him the pass, not quite in the wheelhouse. Del Ponte goes back door, hoping for Skvortsov. Not in his wheelhouse either. Skvortsov has it. He and Donahue swap. Play read nicely and cleared there by O'Malley. Out into the neutral zone and beyond. Down the ice it goes. Moyes to leave it for Seamus Donahue. Half a minute remains on this Starbreak Cleaners power play for the Wildcats. Puck thrown out to center. Poikula has to gun it down. He negates the icing. The pass from Donahue is a bit beyond his reach. No icing called. Poikala gets it, tries to feather it back to the blue line for Donahue, who leaves it off for Bendorf. Bendorf into the slot, looking, shooting blocker save made by John Roberts. Taken and sent up high. Burnett goes to Seamus now. Seamus for Burnett. Back up high for Kareem Del Ponte. Donahue, Poikala. Donahue tees it up, takes the shot off the left pad. Just getting a piece of it was John Roberts. Both teams are back to full strength. Tomas Ziele's out of the box. Donahue with a wrist shot. Well off target. Burnett tries to rescue it. Can't do it. The Mudbugs have cleared. They do have some pretty winded guys out there. The Wildcats are going to try to keep the pressure on. Donahue's been out there that entire power play. He skates right straight to the front of the net, and a slot shot turned aside, bounces off the top of the goal. It's swatted out of there. What an odd bounce that was. The Mudbugs it didn't cost them, as Van Sweden will carry it down the right wing. Centers nicely. A shot turned aside by Evan Moyes. Boy, that's got to be a tough save. Having to make that after the last 3 or 4 minutes have all been in the opposing zone. Puck thrown diagonally. Burnett uses his speed to win possession of the puck, but the Mudbugs are all over him, and they're able to clear here. It's thrown out to Brennan Van Sweden along the right wing side. Into the slot for Mather, who has to spin. He's got Croy Evingston. Can't get it to him. The puck tangled up in the referee's skates. So a fortunate break for the Wildcats. The Mudbugs would have had probably a couple more passes there on that rush. The referee playing some defense for the Cats. DeFries with a shot. Blockered away by John Roberts. Not sure if that got his stick or his blocker. Now Ripley goes in deep to fight for it. Blake Ripley, the ex-Team Wisconsin product. And a very, very successful high school career. He's nominated for Wisconsin High School Player of the Year, as a matter of fact, Blake Ripley. So Waring now for Ethan Daniels, the Fairbanks, Alaska native. Puck rolls its way into Evan Moyes' wheelhouse. He's just going to hang on to that one. This has been a fast second period. Holy smokes, just 6 minutes to go. In this second, the Cats with a 20-16 edge in shots, but the score is 1-1. We go to our second period media timeout, so we're going to take a quick break. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. So for whatever reason, the on the Null website, it's loading extremely slowly, unbearably slowly. Hockey's a quick game. I need things like that, especially when I'm by myself up here. It's a little bit frustrating. Can't get the stats or can't verify who scored what, who assisted on what. Look out here, Melton with a shot, and that's a goal for the Mudbugs. What a snipe by Frankie Melton. He was set up from the corner. Frankie Melton continues to lead the Mudbugs in scoring. That's his 9th goal of the season. 14 points for Frankie Melton. He was able to beat Evan Moyes over the glove. He regains the lead for Shreveport, and it's 2-1. I'll tell you what, folks, back when I was calling games in the NA3HL with the Peoria Mustangs, when I was in college, I did manage to see Frankie Melton quite a bit when he played in the same building that I worked in the Owen Center in Peoria, Illinois. Frankie Melton was a superstar on the St. Louis Junior Blues in the NA3HL and a rival of the Peoria Mustangs. I knew all about him. When the Wildcats played the Bismarck Bobcats last season in the Robertson Cup semifinals up in Edina, Minnesota. Melton was there at the time, and a quick backhand shot here taken from the low slot goes just wide. Didn't miss by much. Waring slaps it right into the slot. Daniels couldn't do much with it. Puck stays alive. Dom Sipus with a few head fakes with a shot. Tipped on goal. Pad save Roberts, and he covers up the rebound. Roberts has had to make some tough saves in this period. It's amazing the Mudbugs have the lead right now. Roberts has been the busier of the two goaltenders for sure, especially in this second. Cats unable to solve him more than just once. Stephen Tilley's line back out there. Tilley, Walker, and Cabinia. Tilley being booted. Cabinia will take his place. Face-off will take place to John Roberts' left. Cabinia wins the draw to the side. Walker couldn't do a whole lot with it. Sipus intercepting the pass out at center. O'Malley stole it. Finds Durgan, who's crunched up. The puck bounces its way back behind the Wildcats' goal line. Demantis Sipus with a few head fakes looking. Now it to the right wing for C.J. Walker, who pushed it ahead now for Stephen Tilley. Gains the red line and throws it back in. Cabinia rides Procopio into the boards. Puck rolls loose. Tilley and Cabinia all fighting for it, joined by C.J. Walker, he's pushed all the way back out to center. Tilley can't get it past Shreveport's Jacobsons. Puck tipped into the offensive zone nicely there by Isaac Cabinia. Ricky Carballo and goes crashing in. He's first to the puck, but he's outnumbered 3-1 behind the Shreveport goal. Procopio trying to clear it around the boards, gets it past Del Ponte and down the ice. Line change underway for the Shreveport Mudbugs as Kareem Del Ponte advances it as far as the red line in the neutral zone. Back checking there was Ricky Carballo. He tried to steal it, no luck. On the left side now it's dropped off for Garrett Halford. Halford will put it low for Gabe Wall. Wall scrapping for it, near side corner. Wall and Donahue come together. Wall lost it to Ilya Skvortsov, who finds Ricky Carballo. Had his pocket picked. Donahue recovers, and here he comes. The Wildcats captain skating up ice, dumps it below the Shreveport goal line. Puck has cycled along the right wall. Cannell keeps it. Carballo throws it to nobody in particular. Donahue's going to have to go play it. 3:20 to go in the second period. 2-1 the score in favor of Shreveport. Cameron Cook, Frankie Melton, the Mudbugs goal scorers. Ilya Skvortsov, the Wildcats goal scorer. Shot turned on net from Skvortsov. Stick save made, and an easy one by John Roberts. The puck ends up behind the net. Croy Evingston, former Kenai River Brown Bear, can't clear it past Ryan Orgel. Orgel shovels a nice backhand pass across the ice. It fooled Roman Cannell. It bounced on him, and the Mudbugs, as a result, will be able to clear. Good saucer pass in for a streaking Cameron Cook, who powers his way towards the net, sends it there. And Moyes with a stick down, able to make the save, and then a scrap, and all sorts of extracurricular things happening right in front of Moyes' bench, or net rather. We haven't seen a whole lot of that in this game. Two teams who have never played each other in franchise history. Don't expect it to get too scrappy, but we're seeing a little bit now. Shreveport penalty box is open. And the guy you're looking at on Fast Hockey was Eric Zohovs, who is Shreveport's number 3 scorer this season with 9 points. 3 goals, 6 assists, playmaking centerman for Carlos Zernis and the Mudbugs. His services will be unavailable for the next 2 minutes. Not sure what the call was, but it leaves the Wildcats on their 3rd consecutive Starbreak Cleaners power play, the likes of which they're 0 for 2 tonight. Offensive zone face-off win by the Cats. Seamus Donahue gets the pass. Orgel unloads a one-timer, just missed the right side post. So Orgel has replaced Kareem Del Ponte on the power play. Poikala slides it in front for Ryan Burnett. Somehow he fanned on it. Now Poikala has it, far side corner. Backhands one up to Orgel, whose wrist shot swallowed up by John Roberts. So some more experimenting going on the Wildcats power play. Del Ponte is off, Orgel is on. And the Berndorf line reunited here on the man advantage. Seeing Bendorf instead of Skvortsov now. Face off to Roberts right, one cleanly by the Cats. Donahue gives it to Burnett, far side. Skating in with a shot, glove snag. Some good leather flashing done by John Roberts. A pretty sharp angle shot there by Ryan Burnett. Roberts able to deal with it. He's been a strong goaltender tonight. 23 of 24 saves made by John Roberts. The Cats keep the same 5 out there for this man advantage here. Puck rolls just wide of the net there. It's collected by Jonathan Bendorf, who looks. Will slide it on back to the blue line. Donahue returns it. Bendorf with his backhand takes a shot that goes wide. Poikala will filter it through. Back to Ryan Orgel, who will return the pass now for Alexi. To the goal line, it's Jonathan Bendorf for Burnett, who scorches one over top of the net and out of play. 2 minutes exactly remaining in the second period. The Cats trailing 2-1 despite heavily outplaying the Mudbugs in this second frame. They're going to put a new 5 out there, looks like. We've got open skating again at the KYC this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. Skate rentals are $8. Open skating is $6 if you bring your own pair. It'll be the last open skate until November 6th, so come on out to K. Yeager. Enjoy an open skate. The puck is slapped down the ice by the Mudbugs defense, Croy Evingson. Taken by Seamus Donahue now. Punches it up ice. Ryan Orgel will drop it back out for Seamus. Seamus leaves it for Ilya. Ilya back for Seamus. Doing some circling in their own zone. The fans getting a little bit restless here, and the Mudbugs clear it right back down the ice. Bounces wide of the net. Moyes lets it go. Skvortsov picks it up with time winding down on his power play. 30 seconds to go. Ilya across the Mudbugs blue line. Takes it wide down the right side on his backhand. Looking for his options, one of whom was Orgel. He finds him with the pass. Orgel walking the line, dishing for Skvortsov right circle. With his head up all the way, his shot blocked by Croy Evingson. That stung him. He is down. Skvortsov across for Orgel, not in his wheelhouse. Back up high. Skvortsov touches it back to Orgel, whose one-timer fought off by Roberts. No rebound. Roberts was stung by the shot as well. 2 big stops, or blocks, I should say, by the Mudbugs. Roberts with one, Evingson with the first one. And both shots really stung. Evingson went down from blocking the Skvortsov shot. And then the Orgel shot stopped by John Roberts. To daze him a little bit. Both of those guys can really bring it. The face-off to John Roberts' right side. Here's a centering pass, a shot save, rebound saved again by John Roberts on Bobby DeFriest. What a stop! How did that not go in the net? Bobby DeFriest has it behind the Shreveport net. Trying to find some sort of way to stuff it in. What a game John Roberts is having. Holy smokes, folks. He is the reason the Mudbugs have a 2-1 lead right now. There are a couple of factors, obviously, and other reasons, but he is factor number 1. No question. Ripley wins possession of the puck. Skates his way into the high slot. He's tangled up. We'll leave it for Ryan Orgel. Long snapper. No trouble whatsoever for John Roberts, who is putting on a clinic tonight. 26 saves for the Shreveport goaltender. Unbelievable performance. Game's not even 2/3 of the way over yet. Cats already with a pretty big number of shots. They're going to try to get one more at the end of the period here. 18.3 seconds remaining in period 2. They get the offensive zone face-off, but Shreveport wins the draw. Poikala is joined by Burnett and Walker on the ice right now. Donahue kicks it low towards the Mudbugs goal line. Dominic Procopio reverses the pass up the wall now for Frankie Melton, who's able to clear beyond his own blue line. Poikla will drop it for Seamus. Seamus off the stick of Burnett into the offensive zone, and time winds down. Second period has expired. 2-1 the score in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs. They regain the lead off that Frankie Melton snipe from the high slot. He was set up beautifully by, I believe it was Croy Evanston, though I'm not 100% certain. Frankie Melton certainly with the goal, his 9th of the year, his 14th point. That's got to be among the league lead in points. And not able to verify that for an absolute fact because I'm having a hard time loading up the null pages right now. Not sure if that's the case for everyone. It certainly is for me right now. So I apologize for that. But in the meantime, we're going to step aside here from K. Yeager Coliseum. We're going to have our second intermission report when we come back. Again, 2-1 your score in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs, despite the Wildcats outshooting them 27-17. Again, when we come back, we'll have your second period intermission report for you, and so much more. Stay with us, everyone. You wouldn't happen to have any All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on your Saturday night here, a Saturday night full of hockey in Wichita Falls. It's a 2-1 game in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs, and if you were with us for that second period, you know it was one that was virtually dominated from start to finish by the Wildcats. Unfortunately, the scoreboard does not reflect that if you're a Wildcats fan. 2-1 the score in favor of Shreveport. That last goal they scored off the stick of Frankie Melton, who is on fire right now. As a matter of fact, just about everyone who scored tonight is somebody who is on fire this season. Ilya Skvortsov, the lone Wildcats goal scorer, I believe it was an unassisted goal, though I'll never be sure or I won't be sure in a timely fashion, that's for sure, because I can't get the Null Hockey Tech site to load. I'm fairly certain it's a Hockey Tech issue right now because I'm having no trouble whatsoever browsing the internet, any other sites, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all working just fine. So not sure what the deal is. Hopefully they look into it here, but nevertheless, Ilya Skvortsov, the goal scorer for the Wildcats. That much I'm 95% certain on. It was a really tough shot from pretty much the goal line, and he just sniped it on John Roberts, who has made shots that I would think would be much more challenging than that one to save. Roberts, 26 of a possible 27 saves tonight. He is really having one heck of a game. John Roberts, the Mudbugs goaltender. Evan Moyes, 15 of 17. And again, that Shreveport goal that they scored was sort of just like not necessarily a counterattack, but he caught the Wildcats sleeping. That's how they've been getting their scoring chances, by catching the Cats sleeping. Frankie Melton, who's the most dangerous guy probably on both teams right now, left wide open right down Main Street. He was given a good pass by one of the Mudbugs' better playmakers, Kieran Durgan, who gets his 5th point of the season. Frankie Melton with his 14th off that snipe. He went high glove side of Evan Moyes, picked the corner beautifully, and regained the lead for the Shreveport Mudbugs in that second period. So it's difficult to not go to sleep defensively sometimes when the focus is strictly offense, getting back in the game. And in that second period, the Wildcats just absolutely dominated it, folks. They now lead the Mudbugs by a margin of 10 shots on goal, and I think that doesn't quite do it justice. They were all over John Roberts, particularly I'd say in the first 5 minutes or so. It was all Wildcats. Shreveport's guys were absolutely gassed. They were having a hard time getting to the bench for line changes because the bench in the second period is further from your defensive zone. It was hard for the Mudbugs to keep the Wildcats at bay for large chunks of that second period. It's the only reason the Cats were only able to put up 1 instead of 3 or 4 was because of the Shreveport goaltender. John Roberts, again, 26 of a possible 27 saves tonight, putting on a goaltending clinic. So I would bring you updates from around the NAHL. Unfortunately, I can't do that because I can't get it to load. I'll try one more time here. Slowly but surely, it seems like the page is coming on. Again, for those of you tuning in on fasthockey.com or on YouTube, thank you much. If you're a Mudbugs fan and you're hoping to listen to Church, go ahead and tune in online to theticket1007.com. That's the ticket, all one word, 1007.com. You can hear Chet Yoder's broadcast from a Shreveport point of view. It looks like the Christie Ice Rays have rallied to tie the game, 1-1 late in the second period. Matt Acioli, the defenseman, the veteran defenseman, 2 veteran defensemen, Jake Levin, Matt Acioli, Levin for Odessa, Acioli for Corpus, are the lone goal scorers in that game down at the American Bank Center in Corpus Christi. So that game tied up at 1 goal apiece with just under 2 minutes remaining in the second period. The two of those teams grinding it out for the 4th place spot in the division right now, which currently is held by the Wildcats. Odessa technically ahead of the Wildcats. I believe they're tied. Can't get the standings to load either. I believe the Wildcats and Odessa Jackalopes tied up in the standings right now as it stands, if I'm not mistaken, with Odessa having 12, the Wildcats having 12 because Odessa won last night. And because the Jacks have played one fewer game, they've got a game in hand, the Wildcats, or the Jackalopes rather, are given the tiebreaker in that scenario. So Jacks in third place, Wildcats in fourth, Corpus Christi in fifth. Then Topeka, and then Shreveport. Speaking of Topeka, that game is scoreless through 2 periods up at the Landon Expo Center. The Runners hosting the Springfield Junior Blues. Now let's go out west. The Amarillo Bulls, much improved this season, arguably the most improved team in the NAHL this season. Tied 2-2. Star Brahmas. Peter Kessel with 2 goals for Lone Star. Dan Wildfong probably liking the services of Peter Kessel this season. No doubt about that. Costa Licarezus, who was on fire to start his campaign with a goal for Amarillo to get the game to within 1, and then Brendan Walcom late in the game up. Walcom with the goal, 2-2 the score, out at the bullpen, and Amarillo against the Lone Star Brahmas. That wraps up your South Division out-of-town scoreboard update.
good. You guys can't score. What, do you know what the password is for the internet?
Yeah, it's WF Wildcats 10.
Which one would it be?
2.4 HC, whatever Wildcats.
Alright, sorry, one more time. What is it?
WF Wildcats 10.
WF. Which are they?
Either not that expensive.
Oh, really? Yeah, I should. You guys have an excellent chicken.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, thanks so much for joining us. We're happy to have you with us here on this Saturday night full of hockey in Wichita Falls. Great crowd we have on hand here at K. Yeager Coliseum. The folks here at the KYC hoping the Wildcats can tie this game back up. 2-1 the score heading into period 3. The last 20 minutes of hockey are brought to you by American Classifieds. We're back underway, and with us up here in the booth right now, a surprise guest we've got on hand, Tom Spear from the Allen Americans. Spearsy, can you hear me okay?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us. And what brings you into town here, Spearsy?
I'm here to work with the goalies tomorrow. I've been trying to get up here all year, and I haven't had time, but carved out some time, and I'm really excited about it.
Well, that's great. We know you've helped the team in the past. You were at the first main camp over the off-season, helping Coach LaFontaine, Coach Nelson do some scouting. Really fortunate to have your goaltending expertise here in the early going. What have you seen from some of the Wildcats goaltenders here in the early going in the season here?
Do you know what? I think they're doing well. I know there's some things that we could tweak here and there, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with them so far. Especially with such a young team, there's a lot of adjustments. Goalies have to play a little bit smarter sometimes, but all in all, I think Moyes has been doing great.
There's a breakaway for Ryan Burnett, diving poke check made in net. Speaking of goaltenders, how do you like that play?
I'm a big fan of the poke check.
Look out here, turnover, ripped just wide of the net, and it squeaks its way through Roman Canal. The net's been dislodged, and the Mudbugs not quite happy that the net's been knocked off its moorings there. So, wow, frantic action at both ends, just a minute and a half into this third period. Sorry to cut you off there, Spearsy.
No, you're fine. Like I said earlier, Moyes has been doing great. Maybe we're going to work on him getting out of the crease a little bit, but he's a great goalie all in all.
It's my understanding you actually brought somebody along to kind of feel things out, I guess, over here?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Did you bring a goaltender into town here? Or was that
that's my brother's in town here. He had a couple weeks off, and so he kind of came in just to get some skate. He's a really young 98.
Gotcha.
So we're just giving him some experience here. So, and the players have treated him great.
So Evingson's long slap shot just off target, went high of the net. The Wildcats trailing 2-1. Spearsy, what do you think of the performance put on by John Roberts, the Mudbugs goaltender, in the first 40 minutes?
Do you know what? For a little guy, he moves pretty well. All in all, he scrambles, but I think there's ways that the Wildcats could take advantage of him a little bit. But right now, he's definitely winning the battle.
26 saves of a possible 27. He has absolutely kept his team in this game and then some. John Roberts tonight, if the Mudbugs win, undoubtedly will be the #1 star of this hockey game, as some friendly fire takes place on the right point after the Wildcats cross the Shreveport blue line. The Mudbugs able to retain possession here as Tomas Ziele puts it behind his own net around the near side boards. The Bugs try to clear. Good keep by Waring right into the slot for a shot. Denied by John Roberts. What a save. Diving save made on Ricky Carballo. Point blank chance denied again by John Roberts.
Yeah, like I said earlier, for a small guy, he knows how to play the game smart. So far I've been a big fan of him. He's done great.
He's so aggressive. You don't expect somebody of that size to just come out and challenge you like that. Kind of take away your time, your space, your angles. And Roberts has done that to perfection tonight, nearly perfection. That one goal that the Cats did score, I'm not sure how it even entered the net. A really tough angle down from the corner off that shot by Ilya Skvortsov.
Yeah, he was using the RVH in that one, and essentially one leg down the post, and just got caught. That's a pretty tough move for a little guy to be using, but he's been using it pretty well though tonight.
So Spearsy, the Cats have struggled from time to time this season offensively. Tonight seems to be one of those days, just because of mainly because of the goaltending performance we're seeing at the other end by Roberts. What is it they're going to have to do to put one in and tie this game back up?
It's like any other team, right? You got to get to the net. The goalie can't really stop what he can't see, and we just got to do a better job of getting to the net. Right now, the Mudbugs goalie is just seeing everything. We just got to get to him, take away his vision.
So icing being waved off here as Croy Evingson takes it behind his net and sends it ahead for Eric Zohoffs. Up the wall it goes. Ripley with a keep. Jacobsons drops it behind his own net. So how are things looking out in Allen for you? The San Jose Sharks affiliate team who've won the Kelly Cup the last how many years?
So we've won 2 straight Kelly Cups, and before that we won 2 straight CHL championships. So we're going for 5 straight.
Wow.
Yeah, been lucky. I jumped onto a good team, so good timing.
You met Coach Curtali down there, correct? And you knew him pretty well from that?
Oh, big save. Nice save.
Moisey with a huge stop off that centering pass. Huge save to keep his team within 1. If the Mudbugs score there, it's going to be tough to come back.
Yeah, big save, and we expect that from Moisey. Those are pretty routine saves for him. He's definitely skilled enough to do that night, day in and day out.
So I've got to ask, what was when you were in Allen? What were some of your impressions from Coach Curtali when he was there as an assistant?
Curtali, well, do you know what? Curtali is a high energy guy, high octane, and so is our head coach in Allen. So it's funny to see 2 high energy coaches coach together, and they actually, they balance each other out. I don't know if that makes sense, but they did a good job, and so it was fun to see Tony come here, and actually last year the Wildcats practiced with us, and the Wildcats actually shocked the Allen players how good they were.
Really?
So, yeah, absolutely. They're a fast team last year, and they're now they're young this year, but I think they still have plenty of time to grow.
And I know one Wildcat in particular, a guy who was here for 2 years, no longer with the team, obviously, Nikita Litviak, who aged out. I know he intended on trying out for that team. Have you heard anything about Nikita?
Do you know what? He was with us for a little bit, actually played a preseason game, and he was a big part of one of the goals we scored in preseason.
Wow.
But now I believe he's in the SPHL, the Southern Professional Hockey League, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
The only team, there are a couple of teams I remember from the SPHL growing up, going to college in Peoria, going to some Rivermen games. I saw they played the Fayetteville Fire Ants, the one game I did go and watch. Is that one of the teams?
Yep.
Okay.
They're there.
Which team is Nikita on?
Do you know what? Last I heard he was going to Pensacola in Florida.
Okay.
But I don't know that. Don't quote me on that.
All right, I won't.
Yeah, it's a revolving door in the minors. You never know where players go.
So Bendorf will leave it for Ryan Orgel, who cuts in down the left side, turns one on net. Tough save by Roberts. Rebound. Burnett shoots. Saved by Roberts again. Scrambling in the crease. Roberts able to cover it up.
There he goes again, getting close to that puck. He's doing a great job at that, taking away chances.
My goodness, what a save again. Ryan Burnett, if you're Tony Curtali, if you're going to give one player a chance to snipe it from that range, who better to do it than Ryan Burnett? He couldn't even put it in. Burnett off to a flying start for the Wildcats this season, leading the team in goals with 6. Nobody else even has 5 right now. So Burnett off to a hot streak to start his 2016-17 campaign. 2 of those goals were shorthanded, by the way. Sharp angle shot right off the faceoff, stopped by Roberts. Skvortsov has it far side corner looking. Saucering one to Roman Canal, whose shot just missed the left post. My goodness, how many close calls have the Cats had tonight?
Yeah, that's one of those things. If they just kind of find that chemistry and find their way around the net, they're going to get more goals as the year goes along. It just takes a little time with young guys.
Jeff Skinner had it knocked off his stick. Croy Evingston looking. Former Kenai River Brown Bear defenseman was on the NHL Central Scouting list last season. Croy Evingston. The Cats played against him in the showcase last year. The Mudbugs have just iced the puck, and 2 players skating at full speed. Eric Zohovs lost the race to Roman Canal. Or Frankie Melton did, rather, so the faceoff will return to the Shreveport zone. Spearsy, thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate having you on here. We're not going to keep you around. No, you've got a lot of other things to do. Again, thanks so much, and we really appreciate having you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Alex. I appreciate it, buddy.
Of course. That's our assistant goaltending coach, Tom Spear, Allen American's goaltending coach as well. As a shot from Skvortsov turned aside. We're just nearly halfway through this third period, as the Wildcats are trying to get back into this hockey game. 13:40 showing on the clock. The Cats trailing 2-1 to the Shreveport Mudbugs. Croy Evingston sidesteps the forecheck coming from Ryan Burnett. Poikala steals it off of Evingston's stick. Poikala slashed. A penalty will be called. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the hard work, the 200-foot game of Alexei Poikala in a nutshell right there. Hard work, stole the puck, didn't lead to a goal, but it did lead to a penalty, which might in turn lead to a goal. We're going to take a really quick break, folks. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, everybody. Seamus Donahue quarterbacking this power play, as he always does. Gives it to Ilya Skvortsov. The Cats to the man advantage for the 4th time in the night. They have not scored yet. Can this be the time? Donahue tees it up, sets up Orgel, who the blast that just went off the post. Oh my goodness, another close call. Skvortsov puts it below the goal line. Jeff Skinner surveying his options, throws it in front. Puck turned wide of the net there by Ricky Carballo. Or CJ Walker, rather. Gotten back to the blue line. Orgel feeds Donahue, who feeds Skvortsov, or turns it up high for Orgel, whose blast was blocked, and it goes out of play. 7 minutes into this third period, the Wildcats still trailing the Mudbugs by a 2-1 margin. Good looks on that power play, but they've had good looks all night. I'm not trying to undersell the job that John Roberts has done by any means, but folks, there have been so many close calls. The Cats have just not had the breaks tonight. They've drawn iron at least twice. They've just barely missed the net by inches innumerable times. Orgel gives it to Ilya Skvortsov. Orgel and Donahue swap. Now Skvortsov and Donahue swap. Orgel's drive fought off by Roberts. Another one-time blast by Ryan Orgel, turned aside by John Roberts. Evan Moyes will deal with this dump in by the Mudbugs. He will leave it for Seamus Donahue. A fresh 4 on the ice for Shreveport. As we're about halfway through this Starbright Cleaners power play for the Wildcats. Poikala throws one diagonally into the opposite corner. Burnett meets it first. He will bank it between the skates of Ryan Orgel and down the ice. Here's Seamus Donahue. Will start the breakout. Goes right up the middle for Alexei Poikala. Onside is Bendorf. Poikala down the left wing. Throws it around the end boards all the way out to the other side. Seamus Donahue is there at the right point. Donahue goes back. Poikala gets it. Looking for the backdoor play. Burnett's not open. Back to the top. Seamus Donahue to Burnett. He scores! Ryan Burnett given a beautiful pass by Seamus Donahue. It would have been impossible for him to miss that one. A tap-in goal for Ryan Burnett, his 7th goal of the season. The Cats have tied it up on the power play. So Garrett Halford brought down at center ice. Big body check there by Jonathan Waring, and a penalty will be called. Maybe that was Sipus. That was Sipus. Apologies. Dom Sipus with the freight train-like body check on Dominic Procopio, and I think Dom's going to have a seat for that. Maybe a head contact. Seen that a couple of times this season from the big Lithuanian defenseman. So, I don't understand this. Cabinia's going to the box. The hit certainly wasn't delivered by Isaac. Maybe there was something behind the play that I missed. I'm not sure, but Isaac Cabinia heads to the sin bin. So 2-2 the score, but the Bugs right back to the power play. It's actually the first power play since their first period. The Cats had 4 straight man advantages, finally coming through on their 4th. So the Cats 1 for 4 on their power play. Ryan Burnett turns on the Jets, but Croy Eddington beats him to the puck. Shreveport 0 for 1 on their power play tonight. The Cats 1 for 1 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill. Burnett and Poikala, the choices up front. Roman Canal, Jonathan Waring, the defenseman on this PK. Melton goes cross ice. Nicely there for Kieran Durgan. He throws it back to Melton, top of the left circle. Evingston wants it up high. Melton tried to get it to him. Evingston eventually recovered, tried to send it into the right circle area for Jacobson's. Poikala got in the way of the pass and knocked it back out into the Shreveport zone. Jacobson's has it behind his own net, and he will send it ahead for Kieran Durgan, who drops it right back off. Didn't like the pressure coming from Ilya Skvortsov on the penalty kill here. Skvortsov put his stick down, nearly intercepted it there. Tilly was beaten to it there by Jacobson's. Skvortsov with a left circle shot that's stopped by John Roberts. The Wildcats with more shots on this penalty kill than the Mudbugs have had. So Ilya Skvortsov lines up an offensive zone face-off on this penalty kill here. We're nearly halfway through this third period. 2-2 your score. The Wildcats nearly doubling the Mudbugs in shots on goal. Now 35-19. I'll say this, Shreveport is very, very fortunate that this game is tied. Here comes Garrett Halford. Right down the right wing side. Pressured by Stephen Tilley. The Mudbugs have to reset. ZLA lost it. Donahue throws it off the boards past Tilley all the way down the ice. 38 seconds to go on the Shreveport power play. Eric Zohoffs skating with it up through center. He gets CJ Walker to go down. Zohoffs right down Main Street, offside called against the Mudbugs as Zohoffs goes crashing into the end boards behind the Wildcats goal. Tony Curtale giving CJ Walker an earful on the bench, not liking the way that he played. Eric Zohoffs coming in with all kinds of momentum. CJ Walker kind of on his heels there, defending it. In his defense, that was a tough play to read. Tough defensive play to make against somebody who's got that much speed coming up ice. So here comes Frankie Melton into the left circle. With very soft hands, Frankie Melton, you can see it from here. Gets right back on the puck. Working against Ryan Orgel, who's trying to push him out of the offensive zone here. No luck. Melton finds a man open in the slot, and a shot blocked and out of play. The Mather with the wrist shot, blocked by the stick of Seamus Donahue. Either he or Jeff Skinner, the one who blocked the shot. We're halfway through the third, 9.5 to go in this hockey game, barring overtime. 2-2 the score. 8 seconds to go in the penalty against Isaac Cabinia, which I'm still not sure what that was for. If anything, I figured the hit would have been the cause for the penalty. It was not. Long wrist shot tipped. Moyes the save. Rebound. They score. The Mudbugs have regained the lead again in the last second, the very last second of the power play. Shreveport with a 3-2 lead. The Mudbugs have just answered with a power play goal of their own. The last second of their power play resulted in a goal. Waring tried to put it over the blue line for Ricky Carballo. Dropped off into the slot for Ilya Skvortsov. Skvortsov cutting in, can't get the puck to settle down as he is sized up now in the left side corner in the Mudbug zone. Dom Sipis pinches, gets the puck, throws it in behind the Shreveport net. Ricky Carballo beaten to it. Trying to work his stick and knock it off the stick of Zohoffs. Zohoffs falls down. Skvortsov has it. Back up high for Dom Sipis. Sipis looking, floating one well wide of the net, high as well. Skinner has it, turns it on goal. Save, rebound, blocked on Skvortsov. Now Skinner, we get a stoppage of play for a hand pass against the Wildcats. This faceoff will exit the offensive zone. That was Zohoffs with the power play goal for the Shreveport Mudbugs. 3-2 now the score. Shreveport only with 20 shots on goal to Wichita Falls is 35. But they've got the lead, and that's what matters. When we go to our third period media timeout, the Cats are going to have to find a way to claw back into this game for the third time. They've made up a one-goal deficit twice already in this game. Can they do it a third time? If not, then they will go into a 2-week break in the middle of the South Division standings. That's not what they want. 8:43 the time on the clock showing. See Carlos Zernis, the Mudbugs head coach, on the bench, barking out orders, letting his team know what they need to do to hold on to this lead against a Wildcats team that has proven time and time again that they know how to come back in games. They've shown resolve already so many times in a very young season. The first two games of the campaign, they came back in the third period to tie it and force overtime. They would lose both of those games. They managed to get a point out of both of them instead of losing one in the loss column in regulation time, which is a lot more hurtful than losing one in regulation. The net's been knocked off its pegs, courtesy of Jonathan Waring, I believe. The water bottle of Evan Moyes also knocked off. So the faceoff comes all the way back out to center. Ethan Daniels' line is out there. Daniels won the faceoff. Sipus played one a little bit too far for Bobby DeFriest. Thomas Ziele up the left wing wall. Here comes Garrett Halford, the ex-New Jersey Titan, with a burst of speed and a shot from the right side blocked by the stick of Waring. Halford throws it back into the near side corner. Centering pass, one-timer, blocked by Jonathan Waring. Halford with a pretty good opportunity there. Waring with a nice block. Gabe Wall has it. Far corner. He and Daniels scrapping for it. Daniels rolled it loose. Waring trickles it behind his net. Dom Sipus ends up with the puck. Sidesteps Garrett Halford. Played one hotly off the stick of Blake Ripley. Crashed into, there was Ripley by Jacobsons. Ripley and DeFriest fighting for it. Lost there to Ziele. He will advance it up to Wall, who will clear it down the left wing and into the Wildcat zone. 7:30 to go in this third period. The Cats trailing 3-2 against the Shreveport Mudbugs. These teams' first matchup in franchise history. Shot from center ice that floats a few inches wide of the net on the left post. Poikula and Tilly fighting for it near side. It rolls its way loose for Donahue, whose long wrist shot gloved and held by the goaltender Roberts, who is having what must be one of the best games of his career, I would think. 34 saves on 36 shots, and so many of them have been dandies. Poikula, face-off circle on the left side, lost the offensive zone draw. Here comes Shreveport on a 2-on-2 developing. Frankie Melton dumps one behind the Wildcats goal. Seamus Donahue spins and gets Steve Mather to go crashing into the corner wall. Stephen Tilly collects it near the Wildcats logo and throws it into the left corner. Puck is angled back off the glass and out into the Cats zone. Kareem Del Ponte in pursuit of it in his own end. Del Ponte shoots it off of Yannick. He tries to keep it. Del Ponte took it back away and threw it out to center, intercepted by Alex Spencer. Given a nice pass there was Melton, who put it in front, tipped on net, saved by Moyes. Rebound collected now by Zohavs, who looks. Eric Zohavs stick handling into the slot and shooting it, partially blocked. Enough so that it caused the puck to go out of play. Now 6:30 to go in the third. The Cats still trailing 3-2. The Mudbugs have not had a whole lot of shots in this third period. They haven't really needed to after they got that goal. Clamping it down, trying to prevent the Cats from getting shots of their own, and trying to keep having to make too many more glorious saves, which he is long. The face-off is to Moyes' right. Ilya Skvortsov against Sean O'Malley in the circle. This could all be avoided if the linesman would just drop the darn puck. He finally does. Carballo wins the face-off. Swatted around the near wall. Escaped the reach of Skinner. Thrown back into the slot. Here's Mather with a chance. Sets up a man back door, and his shot turned aside by Evan Moyes. He was able to hang on to it. Van Sweden was the one letting the shot go. Big stop by Moyes. So Shreveport sends its top line back out there, or one of their top lines. One of their scoring lines, no doubt. Eric Zohavs, Cameron Cook, Jack Yannick. They're the line responsible for Shreveport's first goal this game. Skvortsov and Zohovs each wearing number 10. Each European players square off in the face-off circle. A quick shot right off the draw denied by Evan Moyes. Got 19 saves as the Wildcats goaltender tonight. Coming back in this game has proven to not be easy for the Wildcats. They've already done it twice tonight, have made up a 1-goal deficit and tied the game back up. They've only got 6 minutes and 15 seconds to do it a third time, or they will lose this game in regulation. They have, however, proven they're capable of it. Ilya Skvortsov with some nice dangles, gets two Mudbugs to collide with each other, then fires a shot just wide of the post. As it's shoveled along, but not out. Canal's long ripper missed the net high. Skvortsov has it on the right side. We'll try to dump it on back to Ryan Orgel. Didn't have enough speed to it. The Mudbugs able to get it first, and they've just iced the puck. 5:50 to go in the third. 3-2 Shreveport. Faceoff's going to be in the right circle in the Mudbug zone. Alexei Poikola's line back out there. Looks like we've seen some juggling. Poikola now with Skinner instead of Bendorf. Skinner on Poikola's right, Burnett on his left. Aggressive formation here on the faceoff as Canal blasts one off of a Shreveport stick. The puck had crossed the blue line before Canal let it rip, so offside was called against the Wildcats with 5 3/4 now to go in this third period. In all likelihood, in a few minutes, if the Wildcats do not change this score, we'll be seeing an empty net on the right side of your screen. Mudbugs in control in their own zone. They fly it out past the stick of Orgel. Out for Zohovs, who drives the net. Pad save made by Evan Moyes. Danger is not over yet. Zohovs is down. He went crashing with a whole lot of speed into the right corner. We hope he's all right. Eric Zohovs, the number 3 scorer on the Mudbugs this season after Frankie Melton and Croy Evingston, down in the right corner, injured, surrounded by his teammates after going headlong into the right corner in the Cat zone. As he's given a round of applause as he skates back towards his bench in some discomfort. Five and a half in the third period. 3-2 the score in favor of Shreveport. Durgan brought down to the ice by Jonathan Waring, and a penalty will be called against the Wildcats defenseman for tripping. Waring to the sin bin. I don't like that call. That looked to be a hit, not a trip. Tough call against Jonathan Waring, especially with the Wildcats now late in the game, trying to claw their way back into it. If they manage to kill off this penalty, from that point on, it's virtually going to be 6 attackers. So Canal, Burnett, Sipis, Poikola on the ice for this Parkway Grill penalty kill. The Cats do pose a threat on the penalty kill, though I think given the circumstances, Shreveport might be a little bit more conservative here with this power play. Burnett throws it down the right wall. Roberts will stop it behind his net. Jacobson's. Melton continuing to back skate. Jumping up there was Dom Sipis to negate the opportunity for Melton getting the puck there. Pick it up will Frankie Melton. He's run into there by Alexei Poikola. The Mudbugs looking really sluggish here on this power play. Pretty complacent. Cats trying to make it cost him. Hasn't worked out just yet. Frankie Melton throws it around the end boards in the Cats zone. Poikola first to the puck. Passed it between the skates of Roman Canal. Now it's collected by Dom Sipis, and he will clear just beyond the blue line. Croy Evingston off the intercept for Shreveport. Now it's Melton. Shreveport's 2 top scorers this season. Durgan spins away from Isaac Kabinia. Now Poikola rides him up along the boards. Puck is slapped down the ice. 4:12 to go in this third period. The Cats trailing 3-2. 48 seconds to go in the Parkway Grill penalty kill. Tomas Ziele. Ziele starts the rush down into the Wildcats territory. Good side step there by Zohovs, who lays one up in front there for Garrett Hallford. Puck broken up nicely by Seamus Donahue, who scraps for it now with Ryan Burnett aiding him. Orgel throws it off the boards in front of the benches, the penalty boxes, I should say. Down the ice, time winds down on the PK. 17 seconds remaining on it. Burnett steals the puck in the left corner. Crashed into. Lost possession, but back to Roman Canal at the left point, who scoots down the wall. Ziele takes it away from him. Goes back onto the other side. Skvortsov swings it back up high for Dom Sipus, right side. Gave it away. Fresh out of the box, it's Waring, who recognized the defensive threat. And the Mudbugs have just iced the puck immediately after their power play came to an end. So 3:14 showing on the clock in the third period. 3-2 in favor of Shreveport. And the Cats with an offensive zone face-off against some Mudbugs who have been on the ice for a while. And I think this is the right call. Carlos Zernis using his timeout in this situation. Certainly a good call by Shreveport's head coach. Cats have already come back from behind twice in this game to tie the score. Can they do it a third time to force overtime, or perhaps even win it in regulation? We'll see. Tony Curtali going over some strategizing with the boys on the bench right now. I think from this point on, it's fair to say the Wildcats will be relying on 6 players offensively to get the job done. The forwards we can expect to see in the next 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Alexei Poikala, Ryan Burnett, Jonathan Bendorf, Jeff Skinner, Ilya Skvortsov, Ricky Carballo. As of right now, it looks like Skvortsov has replaced Skinner on that line with Poikala and Burnett. So Curtali loading up all his big weapons right now. Although we're still 5-on-5, Moyes remains in his net. It is still pretty early, 3:12 showing on the clock, though we'll probably see Moyes pulled here pretty soon. Poikala with a good centering pass, and the puck is sent wide by Ilya Skvortsov. Now it's taken by Seamus Donahue. Del Ponte is out there on the ice as well. Poikala has it in the left corner, shoved off the puck by Procopio, who's taking multiple slashes at Poikala, nothing called. Burnett now for Skvortsov, left side. Returns it around the boards. Burnett shovels it up high. Del Ponte's shot didn't get all the way through, and the puck is taken and slithered out to the neutral zone. Del Ponte scurries over to take a jab at it and get it away from Alex Spencer. And here comes Van Sweden. Brendan Van Sweden trying to stick handle his way by. Couldn't swagger his way past Seamus Donahue. Giving the pass at center ice. Poikala, who didn't see Frankie Melton fresh off a line change. Melton cuts in with a burst of speed and a shot. Kicking out the left pad, making the save Evan Moyes, who won't be on the ice too much longer, I don't think. Skvortsov now left side, lost it to the stick of Kieran Durgan. Now it's onto the tape for Poikala. Swings with it in his own zone. Reverses the pass for Ryan Orgel. Orgel will have a look. And here comes Roman Canal. Turning up ice. Had not gained the red line, or perhaps he had. No icing here. Ethan Daniels goes crashing into Croy Evingson. O'Malley trying to clear. Evingson has it back behind his net. Moyes stays in his goal right now. 1:45 to go in the game. Daniels bats it down, no high stick. He looks back to the point, couldn't get it there. Play broken up by Zohovs, who's thrown down to the ice. Penalty upcoming against the Wildcats. Will be shorthanded again. Interference, the call against Wichita Falls. And that is not the time to take a penalty. 1:32 to go in the third period. The Cats trailing by a goal. That's not the... So Ryan Orgel skates to the sin bin. He's going to have a seat. He seems to be prone to taking penalties in the last minutes of hockey games. He did in the First game against Corpus Christi back on September 15th. He did against the Aston Rebels, and he's done so again tonight. The Cats shorthanded for the rest of this game here, unless they tie it, of course, or unless Shreveport gets another one, in which case the game would virtually be over. But here comes Jeff Skinner on a 2-on-2 with Isaac Cabinia. Cabinia returns it with a high slot, swatted away easily by Shreveport's defenseman Brendan Gisbers. Alford will throw it low. Zohovs has it in the right corner. With a minute to go in this game, Zohovs looking. Sending it back up high to Tomas Ziele, looking for a shooting lane, can't find one. Thrown into the near corner now. Halford, the cutoff man, and he will now throw it back to Ziele. Up to the top of the right circle, nice toe drag by Zohovs, whose shot stopped by Moyes, and they score on the rebound through the 5-hole. Moyes was all spread out to try to make the first save, and on the rebound, the Mudbugs have pretty much put this game away, and it's 4-2. Cameron Cook with his second goal of the game, fourth of the season. And the folks begin filing out here at the K. Yeager Coliseum. Cats PK has struggled, and that's been one of the big stories of this season. It continues tonight. Just 1 for 3 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill. That's not going to get the job done. Penalty kill has to be improved. Last season, the Cats were a little bit spoiled, had one of the best PKs in the league and the best power plays in the league. If I'm not mistaken, it was the 3rd best PK, the 4th best power play. This season, the Cats are nowhere near that. They've got a ways to go. Although that first power play goal scored by Shreveport was in the last second. Too many opportunities for Shreveport tonight. Too many high-quality scoring opportunities. Evan Moyes unable to bail his team out on enough occasions. So some after the final whistle stuff happening down there. This one is over. 4-2 the final. The Mudbugs with the win over the Wichita Falls Wildcats. The first matchup of these teams' history taking place tonight, and it belongs to Shreveport here tonight. Undoubtedly, John Roberts, one of tonight's 3 stars of the game. Goodness gracious, what a game he had in between the pipes for Carlos Zernis and the Bugs tonight. John Roberts stopping 35 of a possible 37 shots. Start to finish, he was the best player in this game tonight. Roberts, the reason that the Wildcats were frustrated from time to time and stymied offensively, couldn't really ever get their offense going. They had some really good surges, I'd say particularly in the second period, in which Shreveport was just scrambling, just absolutely gassed. Couldn't do anything to even so much as get a line change on the Wildcats. They were really putting it on. It looked as though the Cats would be taking that game over in the second period. Not the case. And that just goes to tell you how important goaltending is in this sport, folks. Because of the saves that Roberts made, not only did he keep the score close, but he motivated the Mudbugs, got them to believe that they're still in this game and that all it took was one shot to get back in the lead, which they did in the second period. In the middle to late stages of period 2, Frankie Melton sniped Evan Moyes with a high glove side shot. regain the lead for Shreveport. The Cats would eventually tie it in the third period off of a beautiful pass by Seamus Donahue, who found Ryan Burnett, who was pretty much parked in behind John Roberts, who I think was expecting a shot there, out a little bit aggressively. It probably wasn't even possible for Burnett to miss from there. Burnett with his 7th goal of the season. Donahue with his 6th assist of the season, or 5th rather, 6th point. But that was not enough. The Wildcats did tie it back up for the second time but then when they took a power play of their own, the Mudbugs returned the favor, scoring on their power play to go back up 3-2. After that, it was a matter of trying to tie the game back up, and against John Roberts, that proved to be difficult in the last 6 or 7 minutes or so. The Cats didn't have even a whole lot of good chances to try and tie the game. And the Mudbugs would score an insurance goal on their second straight power play goal there at the end. It was tucked through the 5-hole of Evan Moyes. Cameron Cook with his 2nd goal of the game. And Shreveport with a 4-2 win here at K. Yeager Coliseum on Saturday night. The 3 stars of tonight's game, brought to you by Kona Ice, are as follows. The number 3 star of tonight's game, who had the first goal for the Wildcats, Ilya Skvortsov, with a snipe of BB from the right corner, who was able to beat John Roberts, who was unsuspecting of that shot. What a shot that was by Ilya Skvortsov. He is tonight's Kona Ice number 3 star of the game. I want to apologize if Matt Cook's parents, or Cameron Cook rather, his parents or relatives are tuning in for snubbing him. Despite scoring 2 goals tonight, Cameron Cook will not be a star of the game. Got to appease the hometown crowd here on Back the Blue night. But I also could not pass up giving a star to John Roberts. Unbelievable night, 35 shots, or 35 saves, I should say, on 37 shots. What a game John Roberts had in net for the Shreveport Mudbugs. The number 1 star of tonight's game, Seamus Donahue, who made one of the best passes I've seen this season. Absolute beauty. A peach of a pass right into the wheelhouse of Ryan Burnett, who, again, probably couldn't have missed that shot if he tried. That, and playing a pretty solid all-around defensive game, I would say Seamus Donahue, the Wildcats captain, he is tonight's Kona Ice number 1 star of the game. That's all the time we have here, folks, from K. Yeager Coliseum. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us. We really appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday night to tune in for some Wildcats hockey and listen to the post-game show here live from K. Yeager Coliseum. I'm Alex Von Koitel, thanking you again for joining us. We'll be with you again in 2 weeks when the Cats hit the road out to the West Texas Panhandle to take on the Amarillo Bulls. Live from the bullpen, we'll be bringing you coverage of that game along with Dennis J. Puska, the voice of the Bulls. October 28th and 29th, that's a weekend. Next weekend the Cats have off, so we'll be out in the bullpen for our first official road trip at the end of the month of October, Friday and Saturday night, October 28th and 29th. Hope to have you with us from there. Till then, so long everyone. It's been a pleasure to be with you tonight, and we hope you have a great rest of your weekend.